Alright, so we're trying to pull some play out of the steering box of this International Cub right here. This is the Harvester Cub.
Farmall Cub, whatever.
The Farmall, yeah. So there's not really any good videos on how to get the play out of the steering box. Now, of course, we have play right here in our linkages. Here, let me see the video. You kick the wheel back the other way. What we did was we took this nut down in here, which is right here. Hold on a second. Okay, that's a nut with a cotter key in it, right there. I know it's hard to see, but it's in there, and there's a cotter key right here. If you kick the wheel all the way one way, you'll have access to pull the cotter key. Once you pull that cotter key, you can turn this nut clockwise, which will bring this pitman arm up. Now it goes up and seals right up here at the top. If you can see that, right up in that sealing ring there. There's a sealing ring. Now, if you tighten it too tight, it'll bind, and you'll notice the steering wheel is hard to turn. You don't want to do that. I mean, you can go up to that point, but you want to back off a little bit to where it's comfortable and not binding too bad. Now, this is not to replace any gears or anything inside the steering box. Now, obviously, this worm gear in here and the regular steering gear itself are worn out. So what I'm doing is bringing it to a different point. You see where it's turning right there? Right, so look, this is how much play we still have. Now, we had almost twice that before. But by pulling that worm gear down just a little bit, or that gear down, it helped bring the slack out. Now, when I tighten that nut all the way up, pretty tight, one cotter key notch passed, which was 1/8 turn or so, even tighter, the steering wheel had almost no play in it.
Still had a little, but...
So right now we still see that the shaft is spinning. You see the nut spinning down there. Hold on, slow down now. You see the nut spinning. We're focused. Go ahead and wrap it a few times, side to side. Yeah, okay, so the nut is spinning right now, but the pitman arm is staying stationary, sort of. So that means that these two side bolts, here, kick it all the way. Not that way, the other way. Okay, now we're at a stopping point. These two side bolts, this bolt, and there's one on the other side, or it's a nut. Kick it all the way around, let me see. Okay. Okay, that's a nut. I got to hold back on that. Now, I'm going to tighten that pitman arm up right there, because the pitman arm seems loose as well. So that'll grip around the worm gear shaft tighter, like a C-clamp, to get this pitman arm tighter, the whole thing.
Should hopefully put a little bit more
It'll, every bit of play is going to count, trying to get the play out of the steering without changing the gear, worm drive set, and detaching this whole housing and pulling this front end off.
They sell rebuild kits, supposedly.
I know they do, but dude, man, sir, boy, whatever. We're not doing this right now. I think we can get a wrench up in here, up in the bottom here underneath. We can always drive the tractor on one. Yeah, we can have it cocked sideways. Now, what size was this bolt? 15, 16?
That big one, yes.
Yeah, so the 15, 16 Craftsman fit that nut down there. So that's what you'll need. And then we're going to try a 5/8 socket on here and see if that's the right size. And it is. Okay. So I need, what I need is a wrench, 5/8 wrench to stop that nut. And we'll tighten this pitman arm up as good as we can get it. And we'll hold back with a wrench on one of these and tighten the other up now that we have raised the pitman arm up to take some of the slack out of the worm gear that's in there and pull down on it. I might be saying worm gear wrong. It might not be the actual worm gear itself. So, okay, so we have our 5/8 here.
I have the end right here.
Okay, can you get to that over there and hold that?
I can get to it with the open end, box end.
Well, anything you can do to hold back on it while I tighten up on the clamp. Excuse me for a minute. All right.
We scratch the surface.
Okay.
Seems to be,
I'm on whenever you're ready.
oh, it seems to be a bit bigger for some reason.
No, it's probably a bit dirtier. Is the whole thing spinning?
Yeah, whole thing is spinning.
Okay, so that proves there's a bolt through there, and if I can do this with one hand and hold the phone with the other, and obviously that pitman arm is loose. Okay, now I'm getting tight.
Not even holding the nut that well.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm just stopping it.
This should tighten down the C-clamp effect on the pitman arm to tighten around the, I'm assuming there's either a keyway or splines in there. It's probably splines. Now kick the wheel back and see if some play is out of the steering wheel.
Yeah, actually.
A little bit?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Okay, good, because this is no longer moving down here, this nut.
That took a little bit out of it.
Okay, so that's a way to manipulate this steering box till you can afford a new one. So kick it back straight. Alright, stop at the straight point. Now, that steering wheel up there has got a little slack in it.
It does, yeah.
Okay, let's tighten that and get that out of there, and then maybe we can find a way to tighten these up later in the future. But anyways, this is just a kind of a short video, 6 minute, 8 minute video on how to take some of the slack out of your steering box without breaking it and without replacing it. Pretty easy with 15/16 wrench, pair of needle nose, a flathead to pull out the cotter key, bend it straight, and then the needle nose to pull it out, and then 15/16 to turn that nut, quarter to an eighth turn, depending on how bad yours is worn out, and then a 5/8 bolt that runs through with a nut on it to tighten that C-clamp once you have adjusted that nut down there first. In other words, you want to bring it up first and then tighten the clamp, and then you guys get the rest. If you're already working on this, then you understand the mechanics of what we're doing here. All right.